Okay, welcome in everyone to Football Friday presented by Football Addicts Anonymous. As always, I'm your host, Rusty Miller. Just gonna be by myself for now until my brother Nick Russo comes on a little bit later when he gets back from the store. Chris and Mark are indisposed at the time, so we're gonna go through this thing pretty quickly, a lot quicker than we usually get done. So that's a good thing to do on a Friday, anyways. But we had a bunch of good games this week. Monday Night Football was not so great for the team I'm wearing, the Philadelphia Eagles. But the two games last night, college NFL, were pretty good and competitive down to the wire, both ending on field goals, one missed, one made. But a whole slate of NFL and college to get through this weekend should be a real good one. So last night's the college game that went on this week, Virginia getting the win 30-28 over Miami in Miami at Coral Gables. Brennan Armstrong, once again, he does enough. I think he does enough to get the job done. It's not usually ever pretty. D.R. King didn't play in this game. Tyler Van Dyke started, played relatively well, didn't turn the ball over, and gave them a chance to win at the end. And it proved that you cannot always rely on kickers to win you a game because they'll doink it like the Miami kicker did off of the left upright. I was intrigued, though, by the non-decision of Virginia's head coach, Bronco Mendenhall, to not call the timeout that he had left. And he just let him kick it and didn't ice him. And that it made a difference. He missed it. It was the first try. He didn't get a second chance to kind of compose himself and think about, well, am I going to miss or what? And it worked. They got the win, and they are now 1-0 in ACC play. Miami 1-2. So not the kind of season they were hoping they would have in as the Eric King returned this year. But Virginia covered plus 3.5 under 64. Cameron Harris, great game by him, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Charleston Rambo continues to have production for Miami, even in a couple back-to-back losses here, 5 receptions, 99 yards. And defensively, I am going to go with Mandy Alonzo for Virginia, 5 tackles, 4 solos, 2 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss. Yes, Monday Night Football was a downer. I had a teaser parlay, 18 teaser parlay. It came down to the Eagles plus 9.5. I thought, it's a rivalry. They'll keep it close. They usually play better in Dallas against the Cowboys anyways. Did not turn out to be the case. The Cowboys did what they wanted on offense. Running the ball specifically for the majority of the night. They just opened holes all over. Ezekiel Elliott looked like his old self, 17 carries, 95 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Dak, very efficient, did have the strip sack that Fletcher Cox recovered in the end zone for the Eagles' opening score. But, 3 touchdowns for Dak. Jalen Hurts looked terrible. He didn't get any help from the offensive play calling. I got to say that. I mean, that was one of the biggest things coming out of that game was, Hurts missed some open throws, and there was no pre-snap motions, and they barely ran the ball after they got down. So, I don't know. I still don't know what to think about Jalen Hurts through 3 games. It's, they played a bad team week 1. They looked really good. Played 2 good teams, playoff caliber teams, 2 weeks in a row. They looked so-so. But The tight ends, the team in yards, 80 yards and 2 touchdowns there. Defensively, Anthony Harris, 14 tackles, but I'm going to go with Trayvon Diggs. I mean, he really shut down Devontae Smith all night, or if he wasn't on Devontae Smith, whoever he was on. Both of his tackles, solos, 3 pass deflections, and the pick six, 59 yards to the house. That was on a slip by Devontae Smith. So him, Parsons had a great game. For the Osa Odighizuwa also rushing the passer. Javon Hargrave was literally the heart and soul of the Eagles defense, though. He was the reason why it was only 41. He made a bunch of plays in short yardage situations, or he got 2 sacks on Dak. So he also was the one who stopped. I know people stopped Dak at the 1 yard line on the QB sneak on 4th and goal. So, yeah, that was quite the interesting play as well. Didn't end up mattering, though. Cowboys cover -3.5 and over 52. Thursday night football last night. What a game. Bengals go to 3-1 and keep the Jags winless in Cincinnati. So Joe Burrow, great game, 348, 2 touchdowns off 78% completion. Trevor Lawrence, this was his coming out, though. He really stepped up, had a solid game, not a bunch, not 300 yards, 400 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He didn't throw a touchdown. He did run for a touchdown on a QB sneak. But, really they relied on James Robinson in the ground game, 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they played it safe, really, for the majority of the game. The Bengals, on the other hand, they were struggling offensively early, got down 14-0, came back, got it tied at 14, and then we went on from there. Jags 21, Bengals 21. And then Bengals eventually got the winner. I, unfortunately, live bet was 6 minutes ago, over 48.5. I thought it was 21-21. Either they go to overtime and someone scores a touchdown in overtime, or we get 2 field goals, then someone else wins it on a field goal. That's 9 points. That would get you up over. But yeah, I thought with the Jags at midfield, they would maybe at least get a field goal, and then the Bengals would have to go tie it, and then a field goal in overtime would win it, or some kind of score. But didn't end up happening. Bengals, great play call to CJ Uzomah on 3rd down to set up the game-winning field goal from Evan McPherson. But Tyler Boyd was happy with him. I had him on my fantasy team last night, scored 20.8 points off 11 targets. Chenault had almost a 100-yard game with Chart going down. And then Uzomah, 5 catches, 95 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the tight end. Great game for him. I'm going to go with Logan Wilson. He's been really good for the Bengals all year. 10 tackles, 4 solos, 1 sack, and a tackle for loss. Jags cover +7.5, under 46. So we'll go to NCAA news. There's one key thing that I took from NCAA news this week, and I got it on the D1 ticker. I know Mark talks about that all the time. Our favorite professor, Dave Mccoy, told us about it in his intercollegiate athletics class. And I get it every day or every couple of days. But one thing that they said on there, the National Labor Relations Board sent a memo to the NCAA field offices stating that student athletes are employees under the National Labor Relations Act. So this is huge. They referenced the Northwestern University football players attempting to unionize. And with this ruling or statement, that along with all the nil stuff that's going on, I believe that, like the Northwestern players try to do, I think that it's going to be able to happen eventually, soon, within the next few years or so. I really wouldn't be surprised. Now, there's a lot of other court proceedings that have to go through in order to make that kind of thing happen, but I would not be surprised whatsoever if it ends up happening. Alrighty. NFL news here. I am wearing the jersey of the man. Number 25, LeSean McCoy, shady, an amazing career. He announced he is retiring, and he did that today. I was in class, unfortunately, didn't get to watch the press conference, but he retired a Philadelphia Eagle today as an Eagle. Play a 2009 second-round draft pick for the Eagles. He played with Philadelphia, got traded to Buffalo in 2015, then went on to play with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, winning back-to-back Super Bowls, one with each team. So he is a two-time Super Bowl champ. In his career during the 2010s, just that decade, 10,343 yards. That is the most of any player. 13,923 scrimmage yards. That's the most among running backs. 2,755 touches, the most among anyone. 85 touchdowns, the most for a running back. And 2,341.3 fantasy points. That is the most for a running back. So an amazing decade for him between the Eagles and Bills. He was one of the couple of guys in my era of growing up with football, of watching it in the 2010s. You know, LeSean McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, Michael Vick. Those three, I think, were really the big skill guys of the 2010s for the Eagles that I can think of. So as an Eagle, though, he is the Eagles' all-time leading rusher, ranks first in yards, rushing yards, 6,792 rushing touchdowns. He is third with 44, 4.7 average, is third in franchise history. He also is a two-time first-team All-Pro, and that season, and he set franchise records, I believe, in 2013, 1,607 rush yards and 17 rushing touchdowns. So great career, LeSean. Love that you're a hometown guy from the Burgh, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Went to Pitt and went across the state to play professionally. So very happy that you decided to retire an Eagle. It's a great day today for him. So next thing on the NFL news, the Super Bowl 56 halftime show was announced. Super Bowl 56, of course, taking place at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles this February. And the halftime show is absolute fire. Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige. I mean, what a lineup. That is ridiculous that they have gotten all five of them to come and sing at the same time. Just going to be an amazing show. I can already see it as I'm freezing up here in Wisconsin in February. So all right. The Colts, they are attempting to trade running back Marlon Mack. They made him inactive last week. That was biggest reason why. He is fully healthy from his Achilles injury last year and wants to be more involved in an offense. And There are some teams that need running backs. San Francisco is still trying to get their guys back, Elijah Mitchell, and I'm blanking on the other guy that. Well, Jaquan Hasty was hurt, or DeMichael Hasty was hurt, but I think he's still good. Trey Sermon's banged up right now, but another team, the Rams, they are getting back Darrell Henderson this week, but always a possibility. I wouldn't discount the Steelers. They could use a veteran back in that backfield, and maybe even the Patriots with James White's injury. So who knows? But Marlon Mack could be traded sometime before the trade deadline. Staying with the Colts, Brett Hundley. He is the new backup to Carson Wentz. He has supplanted Jacob Eason as the backup. And even Sam Ehlinger could become a factor at some point because he did return to practice this week after he injured his leg in the preseason. All right, COVID list. The Seahawks, they placed tight end Gerald Everett on the list. He is out this week. And the Texans, they placed linebacker Zach Cunningham and defensive lineman Ross Blacklock on the COVID list. They are out this week as well. A couple of guys coming off the COVID list. First off, Bucs activated wide receiver Antonio Brown. Off of it, he will play this weekend. And then the Ravens getting a lot of guys back from the list that they missed in Detroit last weekend, activating defensive lineman Brandon Williams and Justin Madubuike and linebacker Justin Houston off of the COVID list. Great to get all of them back for pivotal game against the Broncos this week in Denver. Sticking with the Ravens, they activated wide receivers Rashad Bateman and Miles Boykin from IR. They didn't actually activate them from IR. They just activated the 21-day practice window. Bateman, though, I believe should be able to go this weekend. Haven't heard a definitive answer on that yet, but we'll have to wait and see. Other guys getting their practice window activated. Steelers offensive tackle Zach Banner and Seahawks offensive lineman Cedric Ogbuehi. All right, IR, the Eagles, they placed guard Isaac Seumalo on IR with a season-ending Liz Frank injury. Bucs did the same with wide receiver Scotty Miller. He has a serious turf toe injury. Patriots, we already discussed James White's injury, but he got placed on IR today with his hip injury, probably going to miss the rest of the year. Or he will miss the rest of the year. Titans rookie 4th-round pick out of Pitt, linebacker Rashad Weaver. He is out for the year. He had successful surgery on his broken fibula this week. The Jets franchise tagged safety Marcus May. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks with an ankle injury. So Ashton Davis must step up once again in the back end for the Jets. And luckily they don't put the cover AJ Brown or Julio Jones this week, which we'll talk about in a sec. But terrible news last night. Jags wide receiver DJ Chark, he suffered a fractured ankle, out indefinitely, most likely for the season. Very detrimental to my fantasy team. I know I started him last night, even though I had the conversation with one of my other friends. I was like, well, I'm not sure who to start. Either DJ Chark or Sammy Watkins, and I decided to start Chark against the Bengals and got hurt on like the first drive. So that was great to see. Packers linebackers Zadarius Smith. He's going to be out an extended period of time. He is hoping it's not season ending. He just had back surgery this week, so hope to see him back later in the year or in the playoffs. X-rays on Bucks tight end Rob Gronkowski. They were negative when he got them after the game, but he's trying to play this weekend. He is listed officially as doubtful on the injury report, going to New England for the revenge game of Tom Brady and Gronk as well, since they both were there. As I kind of foreshadowed earlier, the Titans, they're going to be without wide receivers A.J. Brown and Julio Jones this week. Brown dealing with a hamstring injury, Jones dealing with a leg injury. So yeah, neither of the big two receivers for Ryan Tannehill. Colts, they ruled out the guard Quentin Nelson, offensive lineman Braden Smith, defensive lineman Kwity Paye, corner Rock Yassin, and safety Kari Willis. Major implications for that. Obviously, Quentin Nelson, one of the best, if not the best, interior offensive lineman in the league. And then Kwity Paye, Yassin, and Willis for the defense, all pretty major contributors, especially Kwity Paye. The Giants, they rolled out wide receiver Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton. Going to have to lean on Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney more, even Colin Johnson. The Packers wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he is out with a hamstring. Corner Kevin King is out with a concussion. Kevin King with the concussion, and offensive lineman Elton Jenkins with his ankle injury. Both of them are doubtful, but MVS is out. Also out, running back, Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey with his hamstring injury. The Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, he was dealing with a back injury this week, but looks good to go. So he will play. The Eagles, they're going to be without left tackle Jordan Mailata again, but they do get back safety Rodney McLeod after he missed the first 3 games, coming back from his ACL and torn ACL from last season. Steelers wide receiver Deontay Johnson and linebacker TJ Watt both are trending towards playing. They were practicing fully this week, so good to see them back. And wide receiver Chase Claypool, he is questionable. Washington football team wide receiver Curtis Samuel, he will be active this week, coming off of IR to start the season. So his debut with his new team in Washington. The Vikings running back Dalvin Cook, he is questionable, but he looks like he will play this week. Big one between them and the Cleveland Browns. Bears, quarterback Andy Dalton, he is questionable. Head coach Matt Nagy said the starting quarterback for this week is a game time decision, whether that be Andy Dalton or Justin Fields. Justin Fields not on the injury report going into the game. I already said it, but the Rams are getting back running back Darrell Henderson Jr. this week after he sat out last week with a rib cartilage injury. The Seahawks, they promoted defensive tackle Robert Nkemdiche to the active 53. So great to see the former first-round pick of the Cardinals get another opportunity to actually play instead of just the practice squad. All right, some releases. The Lions talked about them trying to trade a linebacker, Jamie Collins. Well, they released him. He is making a fully guaranteed $8.8 million from the Lions, so he can really choose wherever he wants to go, make the minimum, and go chase a ring, essentially. Texans, they waived kicker Joey Sly. And the biggest free agent signing that I can think of during the season so far, the Bucs. They signed corner Richard Sherman to a 1-year, $2.25 million deal, and he will play this week. He's going to be active in his Bucs debut against the New England Patriots. The Cardinals, they got their corner as well. They signed former Washington football team corner Quentin Dunbar, also formerly of the Seahawks. Really great value for them. Trying to replace Patrick Peterson as he went to Minnesota. So, and get a running mate with Byron Murphy Jr. on the outside. The Titans, they signed 2018 Raiders 5th round pick punter Johnny Townsend this week. And then intriguing story, the Giants, they signed offensive tackle Isaiah Wilson to their practice squad, former 2020 first round pick of the Tennessee Titans. Got traded to the Miami Dolphins, subsequently released, worked out with the Colts, worked out with the Giants, and now the Giants signed it to their practice squad. For a team that needs offensive line help, all the offensive line help it can get, really low risk, high reward signing for New York. All right, that is all the news I have for the NCAA and NFL. Let's get to college football pick standings. So I am still on top. Chris got a game on me. He did get a game on me last week, but it was okay. All of my lone wolves ended up working out somewhat, one way or the other. So, it was okay. The games that we differed on last week: Notre Dame, Wisconsin, I lone wolf the Badgers. LSU, Mississippi State, I lone wolfed the Bulldogs. Boston College, Missouri, Chris lone wolfed the winning Golden Eagles. SMU, TCU, I lone wolfed the Mustangs. Texas A&M, Arkansas, I believe I lone wolfed Arkansas, the Razorbacks as well. Kansas State, Oklahoma State, I lone wolfed Kansas State. Chris lone wolfed Oklahoma State. And then Kentucky, South Carolina, Chris lone wolfed the Gamecocks. So let's get into this week's slate here. Number 5, Iowa, tonight at Maryland. Chris is lone wolfing the Hawkeyes. Mark told me he was rolling with me, and the reason I am rolling with the Fighting Dave Mccoys, as we have told you, we call them because of our favorite professor, Mr. Mccoy, Dave Mccoy. One is, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Taulia Tagovailoa is playing excellent football right now. The Maryland defense is flying around. And 2, it is a Friday night game. It is not a Saturday game. And it is at College Park. Now, people say College Park isn't that threatening to go to. But a night game at Maryland, it's pretty far distance to go from Ames to Maryland. So yeah, I like the Terps. If they can keep it close, that's why, Iowa's only a 3-point favorite. I get why people would pick them. Their defense is stellar. I know it'll backfire on me if I say it, but I'm still not sold on Spencer Petras. The offense at times for Iowa has been so-so, and I think they really relied on their defense heavily. So if Taulia and the Dante Demas and all the other offensive playmakers they have, if they can break the Iowa defense, I think they can have a chance. They can play defense well themselves. So let's go Terps, and let's go get this win tonight. So over under is 48 in this game. I'm going to go under. A lot of defense being played in this one. 8 o'clock, FS1. All right. The second game we are picking tonight, number 13, BYU at Utah State. Now, that is a very difficult place to play at Utah State. We have seen it. We all picked incorrectly when FCS North Dakota rolled into Maverick Stadium in Logan, Utah, and got beat up. But this is different. This is a ranked team, top 15 team. And also, I am really liking what BYU has done. This is a rivalry game for the wagon wheel, the old wagon wheel, between the two. So that plays a factor. But, you know, I believe in Jaron Hall. We'll have to see if he plays or not. I know Baylor Romney played the entire game against USF last week. But I think that they still have enough, even if it is Baylor Romney. I think they can get it done in Logan, Utah, win the wagon wheel, the old wagon wheel, and Tyler Algier, BYU defense. It should be an excellent game. I will say that. Should be an excellent game. But over-under is 65. Big number. I'm going to go under. Like I said, BYU's defense, I really like how they are playing right now. 9 p.m. CBS Sports Net. There is one other game that we're not picking tonight. It is Houston, who is 3-1 at 1-3 Tulsa. Tulsa is actually favored by 3.5 points. This one is at 7:30 on ESPN. Over under is 54 in that one. Tomorrow's games. Let's start out number 8 Arkansas at number 2 Georgia College game days game that they will be at. We're all on the dogs. I don't like that, but you know, it is what it is. And I know Mark says the dogs don't play particularly well in day games, which I have been there for an upset a couple of seasons ago when South Carolina came in and Rodrigo Blankenship missed a field goal in double overtime to tie it. So. But this is a top 10 matchup. It's so dumb that it's during the day. Really dumb. But it is what it is. And I think the Georgia defense will give the Arkansas offense problems. That's the reason. Arkansas has a pretty good defense as well, but I think that's what it comes down to. I think the offensive play of Georgia will be better than Arkansas, and Georgia will have an easier time moving the ball against Arkansas's defense than Arkansas's offense will against the dog defense. So that is my reasoning for picking the dogs, not just because I'm a homer, but it sucks. I'll be watching it at 11 a.m. here, which is great. Over-under is 50. I feel like it's usually safe to bet unders in Georgia games, especially not last week. Last week you should have bet the over last week because it was against Vanderbilt. But this one, though, I am going under. It's going to be a tough game, and it's going to be a slugfest. So not quite week 1 Clemson slugfest, but yeah. 12 p.m. ESPN. Big Ten matchup, number 14, Michigan at Wisconsin. Wisconsin, the Badgers getting 2 here. Undefeated Michigan. Mark's rolling with me. Chris, that means Chris is now lone wolfing Michigan. And I understand why. I'm just saying they're coming to Madison. They're not playing in the big house. If it was in the big house, Michigan easy. But the way that Michigan played against Rutgers last weekend, I think Wisconsin's defense is better than Rutgers. Now you can say, well, Notre Dame rolled them, but that wasn't the Wisconsin defense's fault. That was Graham Mertz sucking. And I hope that Paul Chryst switches the quarterback. I don't know who they have behind him, but Graham Mertz not getting it done. They need a switch at that position anyways. And, hopefully they do, because I think if they can rely on their running game, John Malusi and Ncaa, they should be able to win the game based on their defense. So if not, it'll be weird having a 1-3 Wisconsin team. And then you're going to be like, well, who is winning the Big Ten West? I cannot answer. Over-under is 44. Again, it's a good defense, so under, why not? I'm on Fox, big noon kickoff. Texas battle here, Texas at TCU. We are all on the horns. All right. But fighting Matthew McConaughey's will get it done at TCU. They've struggled there in recent years with Sam Ehlinger at quarterback. It's different. Casey Thompson has been a revelation at the quarterback position. Once they switched from Hudson Card to him, he has really opened it up for Bijan Robinson and the rest of the offense. So I like that. Max Duggan will play. He always plays well against Texas. So it'll be close. I don't think necessarily that Texas covers. So maybe a field goal game, but one of the best rivalries out there. So over under is big one, 65. We're going to go over possibly. It's going to be in the 30s, I think, for both teams. It's just, is it the high 30s, mid 30s? Maybe. 12 p.m. ABC. ACC matchup, Louisville at number 24, Wake Forest. I was surprised no one went and took Malik Cunningham and the Cardinals. But the Demon Deacons have been playing so well. Their win last week against Virginia, I think, was really a big talking point, especially when you're talking about early season. Who can go win the ACC with Clemson and North Carolina both having 2 losses? Miami now has 3 losses. Those were the 3 in the preseason that we were like, all right, yeah, one of the, Clemson's going to win it. And then, it's going to be either North Carolina or Miami right there as number 2. But that's not what it is in 2021 right now. It's Wake Forest undefeated. It's Louisville at 3-1. It's Boston College undefeated. There's a lot of teams that haven't won a conference championship in a while, or maybe ever at all, since they've been in the conference. And yeah, it's a great shot. And this is a pivotal game to get toward winning that. So, Louisville's coming off an 8-point win over Florida State. I think we've seen Florida State be feisty in a bunch of games, but I think their biggest win really was against UCF, got blown out by Ole Miss week 1. The offense that Wake Forest is bringing with Sam Hartman and Christian Beal-Smith and A.T. Perry, everyone else as well, I think is going to be too much for the Louisville defense. That's what I'm going with. Over under is 62. Big numbers, should go over. A lot of scoring should occur. 12 p.m. ESPN 3. Another top 10 matchup, number 7 Cincinnati at number 9 Notre Dame. Chris is lone wolf in the Irish. I understand it's in South Bend. And this is the second straight week that I'm against Notre Dame. But I believe in Desmond Ridder so much. And the job that Luke Fickell has been doing at Cincinnati, that this will be their statement win that they've wanted. This is what they wanted. They needed a game like this. And if they can go get it done in South Bend, mind you, it will wholeheartedly create a scheme where Cincinnati is already going to the Big 12 whenever that happens. With a win right here, they could be like, all right, boys, get ready. This is the kind of team you're going to have to play. You wanted us. So get ready for a dogfight because Luke Fickell is building something in Cincinnati now. They're going to have to find out the next quarterback in the next couple of seasons or this coming season in 2022. But their defense, they have foundations there. So even with Marcus Freeman now coordinating the Irish defense. So over under 51. I'm going over. Regardless of whether the defenses are playing well, the offenses in this one should be relatively good, especially Cincinnati's. Desmond Ridder, Jerome Ford, 2:30 NBC. UL Monroe at number 16, Coastal Carolina on the teal turf. The Chants are going to win this. I'm surprised UL Monroe even has 2 wins. Whoever bet over 1.5 wins for UL Monroe, good for you. But their 2 wins are against Troy and a 5-point 12-7 victory against Jackson State. Not Jacksonville State, Jackson State. But yeah, I thought Troy was better than that. I guess it was an upset. So, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what record UL Monroe has. They could be 10-0 coming into this one, and it wouldn't matter because Coastal Carolina, regardless of their struggles at Buffalo 2 weeks ago, they railed UMass last week like they should have. They are scoring an astronomical 45.5 points per game, 520 yards per game, 302 or 253 on the ground. So, yeah, Sean's easy win in this one. And get ready for to go to Arkansas State next week. Over-under is 58. I'm going under. I don't think UL Monroe will score enough to help. 2:30 ESPN Plus. What a showdown in Tuscaloosa this weekend. Arch Manning will be in town. Number 12, Ole Miss, undefeated 3-0. At number 1, Alabama, 4-0. Now, Ole Miss has played some people. I already said about their opening win, blowing out Louisville. They destroyed Austin Peay. And then the team that gave Oklahoma troubles in week 1, Tulane, Ole Miss beat them by 40, 61-21 win in that one. And Matt Corral has given Alabama problems before. So I would not put it past Ole Miss to beat them. But I think the key factor for me, it is in Tuscaloosa. Not very many teams, if any, can go in there and beat the Tide at home. That's why I have Alabama winning, because I just don't think that Ole Miss is good enough, especially defensively, to go in there and beat Alabama. Over-under is ridiculous. It is 80. Yes, 80 is the over-under. And the craziest thing about it is that I don't think that I think that it could get over. I think that's realistic. There should be a massive amount of points in this game. Ole Miss and Alabama have both shown they could score. I think Alabama's defense is better, so maybe that's the thing that wins the game for it. I don't think they cover. Ole Miss should. I thought Alabama was going to cover 14.5 against Florida, but I think Florida is worse than Ole Miss is. So, yeah. Key Heisman Trophy battle here as well. Matt Corral and Bryce Young. So, 3:30 CBS, SEC on CBS. Number 3, Oregon. The Ducks heading to Stanford. They are an 8-point favorite there. And yeah, it's an easy one. The Ducks, UCLA, Stanford gave UCLA some problems at Stanford last weekend, but the Ducks have been rolling. Still kind of high off of their Ohio State win at the Horseshoe, so I don't see them having a problem. Now, do they cover 8? I think so. I think they can win by at least 10. So, over-under is 58, and we're going to go over. 3:30, ABC. All right, Big 12 matchup number 6, Oklahoma at Kansas State. And yes, I am lone wolfing the Wildcats for the second straight week. Or not lone wolfing the Wildcats, but I'm on Kansas State the second straight week. I was on them against Oklahoma State. That was at Oklahoma State. But this one's in Manhattan. And while it's not a night game in Manhattan, they do show on ESPN's AccuWeather that there are going to be some storms. So maybe that makes it a sloppy game. And I think that favors Kansas State. Again, Manhattan is a tough place to play. And I don't know why. I just have a hunch that people are picking Oklahoma because they're Oklahoma. But look what they've done this season. I mean, barely beating Tulane. Then they annihilate Western Carolina. That doesn't matter. They beat Nebraska by 7 at home. Again at home, they beat West Virginia by 3. Now they have to go on their first road game. They didn't play a road game in the month of September because the Tulane game with Hurricane Ida got moved to Norman. So I don't think anyone's giving Kansas State a shot to win this game. I like Will Howard. Love Deuce Vaughn. And I'm hoping the Cats get it. It would be quite the sight to see them beat Oklahoma. So, and Spencer Rattler's not playing that great. So, all right, over-under is 53. And I think if Kansas State's going to have a shot, they got to keep it under that. So, 3:30 on Fox. Big 10 number 11 Ohio State at Rutgers in Jersey. Now, I said if the Michigan game was in Jersey, I think Rutgers would have won that game. They only lost by 7. This one is in Jersey. I think it's going to be a raucous crowd. It's not a night game, but it will go into the night. And and I couldn't bring myself to pick the Scarlet Knights. I think they will have a shot. But the way that CJ McCord or not CJ McCord, Kyle McCord played last weekend, I think is the difference for me. Granted, it was against Akron, but I do think they're going to stick with McCord in this one. Noah Vedral and Isaiah Pacheco are really what's going to keep Rutgers in it, along with their defense, their stellar defense. But I think Kyle McCord is the biggest factor for me, and he's why the Buckeyes win in Jersey. Over-under is 58. I'm going to go under. I think Rutgers defense is good enough to keep it under. 3:30 Big Ten Network. USF at SMU. Yeah, the Mustangs should roll in this one. USF surprised a lot of people by only losing to BYU by 7 or 8. But yeah, I love Tanner Mordecai, Ulysses Bentley. Those two on offense have been electric. Mordecai, I believe, is still leading the country in passing touchdowns with 20 through 4 games. The man's averaging five touchdowns per game, which is just ridiculous. So yeah, he had 7 in week 1 and then followed that up with 4 and 4 and 4. So 3 straight games with 4 touchdowns after his opening 7 touchdown performance week 1. So yeah, let's roll Mustangs. Over under for this one is 69. Big one. I think it goes over. SMU can score a lot of points. They should cover the spread. And I think USF can score a couple, maybe. 4 p.m. ESPNU. Army looking to go to 5-0 at Ball State. They should roll them. Ball State is probably well, let's just check here. Ball State is definitely not the best MAC team that you'll find. The MAC overall isn't doing very well. Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, the only teams that have 1 loss. All the other teams have 2 or more. But yeah, I've always held Ball State pretty highly as a MAC team. It's only a 10-point spread for Army. I think they'll cover that, though. I don't think Ball will be able to hold up against the triple option, the unstoppable force that is the Army triple option so far this season. So Black Knights roll. Over-under is 48. Let's go over. Yeah, I think so. Ball State will be able to score a little bit. Drew Plitt and the offense should be able to score, maybe 2 touchdowns in this one. 5 p.m. ESPN Plus. Number 10, Florida at Kentucky. Mark, lone wolf in the Wildcats at home. Will Levis and co. I agree. Their defense in the running game with Levis and Chris Rodriguez has been amazing. This is a different animal, though, and the Gators coming to town, coming off a trouncing of Tennessee. So I think Emory Jones is playing his best football of his entire college career so far. This year being his first year as a starter, but getting subbed in with when Kyle Trask was playing last year, and also he played the entire bowl game for Kyle Trask. So yeah, I think the Gators get it done, though, even though it's at Kentucky. I just think Emory Jones is playing very well, and that's really my only reason. Over-under is 56. I'm going to go under. I don't think Kentucky scores that much. 6 p.m. ESPN. Louisiana Tech at number 23, NC State. The Wolfpack, 18.5-point favorites here. I don't think they'll cover that, though. Louisiana Tech, for all of their issues that they have, only lost SMU by 2. They beat North Texas by 7. Barely beat FCS Southeast Louisiana by 3, and barely lost to Mississippi State by 1. So every single game that they played this year, one score. It won't be that way in this one, but I'm just saying they have a proponent to play up to or down to their opponent. So, yeah. Wolfpack win it. Devin Leary and Ncaa coming off Zonovan Knight, coming off a miraculous victory in double overtime against Clemson. Great win for them. Should get another one here at home. Over-under is 55. Going over. 6 p.m. ACC Network Extra and ESPN Plus. 0-4 UNLV at 4-0 UTSA. Roadrunners getting 21 points. And initially, you would think that, they should blow the heck out of them. But UNLV just went to Provo they went to Fresno State last Friday and only lost by 1 touchdown. Not one touchdown. They lost by, I think, 10 points. That was a wake-up call, I think, to a lot of people. UNLV is not just a pushover. 8 points they lost to. And so I think they should cover. This one's at the Alamo Dome. Love Sincere McCormick, Frank Harris, and co. on offense. Should get it done. I'm just not so sure about the 21. 6 p.m. Over-under is 56. I'm going to go under, even though we saw against Fresno State that game was a shootout, so finished with 68 points in that one. I'm going to go under, though. 6 p.m. ESPN Plus. Mississippi State at number 15, Texas A&M. We are all on the Aggies. I was thinking about it wholeheartedly about picking the Dogs for a second straight week. I just couldn't, not on the road. A&M's defense played relatively well against Arkansas last week, but the issue that I have is with Zach Calzada. He is not playing up to par. I mean, it was his first start last week, going into his second start now. He's at home, though. The Cadets will be there, so I think the home crowd should help. And you never know what you're getting from Will Rogers for Mississippi State, so let's go Aggies. I think Mississippi State might win it, but I'm going to go A&M on here. So over-under is 46. I was surprised it was that low. I know Calzada's had the A&M offense has had scoring issues, so that's maybe why. But other than that, I don't see why it would go under. 7 p.m. SEC Network. Top 25 matchup, number 21 Baylor at number 19 Oklahoma State. The Cowboys getting a 3.5-point spread here. Baylor is a interesting choice for Chris. Now, they just beat Iowa State by 2, but that was at Baylor. Their other wins, they hadn't played anyone. They only beat Texas State by 9, destroyed Texas Southern, destroyed Kansas. Oklahoma State, however, has played people. Now, they only beat Missouri State by 7, but Missouri State's a good FCS team. Only beat Tulsa by 5. Tulsa's 1-3, but favored against Houston tonight. They beat Boise State by 1 on the blue turf, and then they just beat Kansas State by 11 here in Stillwater. So I think it's a night game at Stillwater. And I still don't know who the heck the quarterback is for Jerry Bohannon for Baylor. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma State, Spencer Sanders. And Mark's cousin, Jalen Warren. Over-under is 48. We're going over. It's a freaking Big 12 match. Come on. 7 p.m. ESPN 2. Liberty at the Blazers. UAB Mark rolling with the Blazers. He picked them. He told me because they are opening up a new stadium. I had not heard of that, but okay, Mark, sure, why not? Yeah, so we're gonna roll with that, and I am going with the Flames just because Malik Willis. That's why. That's why I pick Liberty every single time, is because Malik Willis. I still have faith in him to get it done, and I think that he will be able to do that tomorrow night in Birmingham. The over-under for the UAB game, 49, even 7 touchdowns. I'm going to go under. Defense. 7 p.m. CBS Sports Net. Indiana at number 4 Penn State. This is a night game in Happy Valley. It is a revenge game for the Nittany Lions. Week 1 loss as the number 8 team last season at Indiana. Put a big damper on their season, led to the 0-5 start that had never happened in school history. So I think the Nittany Lions want to destroy Indiana. I think they roll big, and they don't stop. They will not stop scoring. Defense will play lights out, and they'll get the win in this one. Over-under is 54. I'm going to go over. I think it might be close, though. I said they should roll them, but I am going to recant that statement and say 31-24 Penn State wins. $7:30 ABC. Western Kentucky at number 17 Michigan State. We're all on the Sparty train, and this is sad. I would love to pick Western Kentucky and my favorite quarterback in the country, Bailey Zappi, but it's in East Lansing. If it was at Western Kentucky, I might have thought twice about it, but it's in East Lansing. Michigan State coming off a close one against Nebraska in overtime. I still hate you for doing that, Michigan State, but Mel Tucker. But they have enough. They're going to beat Western Kentucky. 10.5 points. I don't think so, actually, because of Bailey Zappi. They almost, they came very close. Their 2 losses are by 3 points at Army and 2 points when they hosted Indiana last weekend. So they can play with some of the bigger FBS programs, Army, Indiana, and now they have Michigan State. So don't be surprised Western Kentucky covers that. Over under is big, 66. I think that goes under. Michigan State's defense too good. 7:30 FS1. That's also a big factor. Night game in East Lansing, let alone just regular game. ACC, Boston College undefeated, heading to South Carolina to play number 25 Clemson. They remained in the rankings regardless of their loss, despite their loss to unranked NC State last weekend in double overtime, and they looked pitiful in that game. If this was in Boston, I would pick the Eagles, but I can't. It's in South Carolina, and I'm going to go with the Tigers. I don't know why. It's because it's in Clemson. That's pretty much why. I don't have any faith in DJ Uiagalelei, but the defense I do. But Boston College has been scoring, so we'll have to see what prevails. Over under is 46. It's a low one. I think it does go under. How many can Clemson even score? That's the biggest issue. 7:30 ACC Network. Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns at USA, South Alabama. In Mobile, Alabama. And Louisiana is one of the better group of 5 teams. Their 3 wins, Georgia Southern, they railed Ohio. They beat Nicholls State by 3. Gave Texas problems week 1 as the number 23 ranked team in the country. Haven't been able to get back in the rankings since. But South Alabama, they destroyed Southern Miss, beat Bowling Green by 3, and beat Alcorn State by 7. That was 2 weeks ago. So they haven't played in a while. So I think that helps Louisiana as well. They should beat them wholeheartedly in this one. Levi Lewis and company. Over under is 53. That's a tough one. Think I'm gonna go over. I think USA can score, maybe 2. 8 p.m. ESPN Plus. Number 22 Auburn at LSU. The LSU Tigers getting a 3-point favorite here at home in Baton Rouge. Yeah, Chris is lone wolf in Auburn, and I really don't know why. I don't see a way that Auburn can win based off what we've seen from them. The benching of Bo Nix against Georgia State last week was pitiful. They have a good running back in Tank Bigsby, and whether it's Bo Nix or TJ Finley, I just think LSU is a better team. Max Johnson is playing very well, and they're 3-0 since that week 1 loss to UCLA. So. Over under is 56. And we're going to go under. 9 p.m. ESPN. Late one in Baton Rouge. Pac-12 matchup. Pac-12 after dark. Arizona State at number 20 UCLA in the Coliseum, or in the Rose Bowl. And UCLA should beat them. Arizona State, I don't know how they're 3-1. Really, I don't. Jaden Daniels, I don't think he's played all that well. Destroying Southern Utah, destroying UNLV, but then they get beat by 10 against BYU in Vegas. And then they roll Colorado, who has shown to be not very good this year. UCLA, on the other hand, they destroyed Hawaii, destroyed LSU by 11, lost to Fresno State, which I was happy about, and then they beat Stanford by 11 in their first road game of the year. So I think the Bruins, they're going to get back to their running game, Zach Charbonnet, Britton Brown, and limit the passes that DTR has to throw. I think that's how they win, and they will win against Herm Edwards and the Sun Devils. Over-under is 56. Let's go over. Why not? 10:30, FS1. Number 18, Fresno State at Hawaii, a late game, as they always are, coming from Hawaii. But I have fallen in love with Jake Haener, Ronnie Rivers, Jalen Cropper, and the rest of the Bulldog offense. And I love it. I think they're something special. They have the tools to win the Mountain West, and it starts right here with their second conference game of the season. Over-under is 65. Wow. 65. I don't think so. I don't think Hawaii's going to score that many. So, as much as I love Chevin Cordero and Cole Turner, I just don't think they're going to score all that many. 11 p.m. CBS Sportsnet. FCS game of the week. It is the Battle of North Dakota. Number 5, North Dakota State, the Bison, undefeated. They are heading to number 10, North Dakota, to play the Fighting Hawks. And it was a tough choice. This was probably the toughest FCS game that we've had to pick this year so far. And as much as I love Tommy Schuster, as much as I love Otis Weah and Luke Skokna and the UND defense, they are at home. I understand that they almost beat North Dakota State at home last year. But, big but, I think Quincy Patterson, the Virginia Tech transfer for North Dakota State, is the difference. He has turned the program around this year, going 3-0. You know, they have destroyed everyone so far. They've only allowed 13 total points, beating Albany, Valparaiso, and Towson. North Dakota's been battle-tested, though. They had to go to Logan, Utah, and play FBS Utah State. But other than that, they destroyed Idaho State and destroyed and shut out Drake last week or 2 weeks ago. So I think it'll be a very entertaining game. It should be close. And yeah, I had to go with the Bison. I just cannot. Yeah, it was a 34-13 loss to North Dakota State in March this year. So got to go with the Bison. I think they are back to being North Dakota State, and massive game here for both teams. That one is at 3 p.m. on ESPN Plus. NFL game picks here. So, Mark is just continuing to destroy us, man. I mean, he picked up another game on both Chris and I. I am now 4 back. Chris is 5 back. It's ridiculous what Mark is doing to open the season here. Being 15 games or 16 games above 500. It's ridiculous, dude. So, I am going to go with and the games, there's only 2 games that we differed on last weekend. I lone wolfed the Giants, Chris lone wolfed the Seahawks. Mark got both of those right, playing with Chris on the Falcons and with myself on the Vikings. So, anyways, kick off the 1 o'clock games here. Chiefs at the Eagles. Normally, I would say Philadelphia being at the link is a difference, but not right now. The Chiefs are going to come in really mad. First time they've ever lost in back-to-back games in the Patrick Mahomes era. And also, Patrick Mahomes is now on a 2-game losing streak in September, where he previously had never lost before they lost to the Ravens in Baltimore 2 weeks ago. And he's on a interception streak as well, being intercepted in 2 straight games. So I think they come in pretty angry. Eagles defense didn't put up any fight really against Dallas. I think Patrick Mahomes slings it around the yard. They cover 7, and over-under is 55. Let's go over. I think the Eagles can get a little bit to help that hit over. So, all right, Panthers at the Cowboys. I think this is one of the best games of the weekend. Chris is lone wolf in the Cowboys. I understand why from what they showed on Monday Night Football. But I'm believing in Sam Darnold. Without Christian McCaffrey, he has the burden now to pick the offense up. Chuba Hubbard gets a full entire week of starting. It's actually a week and a half of starting because they played on Thursday night last week. So I think that will benefit Chuba Hubbard a lot. And I think the Panthers defense is for real, y'all. I mean, they are shutting people down. And as great as the Dallas offense is and can be with all the pieces that they have, the Dallas offensive line, I think, is the weakest part that they have. And I think you will see that exposed by the pass rushers that Carolina has: Brian Burns, Hassan Reddick, Morgan Fox, Derek Brown, and the like. Shaq Thompson on blitzes even. So, yeah, I think they have the players to stop them. And it'll come down to a 1-score game. But I think Carolina can do it and go 4-0. Stay atop the NFC South. Over-under is 52. And I'm going under. I already said it. Panthers defense. Washington football team, 1.5-point favorites in Atlanta against the Falcons. We're all on Washington. Curtis Samuel returns to make his Washington debut. Granted, it's in Atlanta, so a team he's familiar with playing against with his time for the Panthers. But yeah, I like Tyler Heinicke. I think they're going to have a good day on offense against the porous Falcons defense, and should be able to get the win here in Atlanta. Pretty much picking against Atlanta every week, except for last week when I did pick against them. Yeah. So over-under is 48. And 48, I think over. Falcons defense is not that great. And we've seen the Washington defense struggle with a passing attack. So maybe Matt Ryan does that. I know Russo will love that because I just traded Calvin Ridley to him. So you're welcome. All right. This is ridiculous. I have never seen anything like this. The Bills are favored by 17 at home hosting the Houston Texans. Unsure. I haven't heard any update on whether it's Davis Mills. I believe it would be. Because Tyrod is still injured on IR with his hamstring for the next 2 weeks or so. So, yeah, I think it will be Davis Mills once again. He played relatively well against the Panthers at home on Thursday night. But this is a different animal. This is high-octane Bills offense, and, yeah, it would be very difficult for anyone playing quarterback for the Texans that isn't named Deshaun Watson to beat the Buffalo Bills. This is the first time they're playing since they met in the 2019 playoffs. But, yeah, Josh Allen, I think, has found his groove, and they should roll. Not saying that they're going to cover 17 because that is ridiculous spread. But I do think they roll. Over-under is 47. Let's go over. Lions at the Bears. Now, Chris Lone Wolf and the Bears, good for him. Why not? I'm going to roll with the guy that's been beating us, Chris, because not just because of that, but Jared Goff has surprised me. I will say I was wrong. Jared Goff is playing excellent football right now. The fact of the matter is it's been against good teams, and their defense has been letting up so many points that they've been down for the majority of the time they've been on the field. So it's tough. The first half against the Packers, I think you saw what they could be on offense, and then it just kind of went away in the second half for some reason. But I think against the Bears, now the Bears defense has shown that their preseason debacles were not true and that they are playing very good defense. But I just think, not knowing who the starting quarterback is for Chicago, I think the Lions can get it done regardless of Andy Dalton or Justin Fields. Over-under for this one is 42. Really low. Tied for the lowest of the weekend, but we're going to go under. 0-3, Indianapolis Colts at the Dolphins. Yeah, I was on the Colts initially. I was with Chris, and that would have made Mark with us too. But I couldn't. First off, Jacoby Brissett's comeback last week in Vegas was one thing. Second, Miami defense. And third, the guys that I already listed in the NFL news that were out this week for the Colts. Quentin Nelson, Braden Smith on offense, and then defensively, Kwity Paye, Rock Yassin, and Kari Willis. Those three, I think, are big contributors, especially Paye on the defensive line. So with those guys out, I think Miami gets the win at home. So over-under for this one is 43. And we're going to go over, actually. Browns at the Vikings. This is one of my favorite matchups of the weekend. Just like I said, the Cowboys Panthers one was. Really like this matchup here with the Texans or with the Browns Vikings. So we're all on Cleveland. Really love their running game. It's in Minnesota. They coming off a great win against Seattle, but I just think that they got that win over with. And now it's time to face a playoff team that doesn't have many weaknesses in the Cleveland Browns, and go with Cleveland. Over-under is 52, pretty high. And we're going to go over, actually. Kirk Cousins has played very well. Giants at the Saints. G-Men 7-point underdogs in the Superdome, or in the Caesars Superdome. But yeah, I bet I picked the Giants last week, and it didn't work out against a crap Atlanta team. I gotta go Saints in this one. I think defense too good to play against Daniel Jones, and Giants keep on giantsing. Over-under is 42. Again, tied for the low over-under this week. But I'm actually going to go over. The Saints, I think, might score 35. Titans at the Jets. We already talked about the A.J. Brown and Julio Jones not playing in this one, so it'll be Nick Westbrook-Akine and Chester Rogers, I believe, will be the starters in this one. Des Fitzpatrick might also get some work. Rookie 4th-round pick from Louisville. So why not? Jets hosting at MetLife? No, I couldn't do that against the Titans. That is not how we're gonna do it. I was surprised Chris didn't take them, but I would, definitely not taking the Jets ever this season, pretty much. Derrick Henry should have a field day. Over-under is 45. We're going to go under. The Jets haven't shown they can score enough. Cardinals at the Rams. What a matchup in the late window. I mean, this is probably the best matchup that we have this weekend. The only undefeated matchup. So, yeah, why not? We're all on the Rams. I was surprised Mark didn't go with the Cardinals, but it is in LA at SoFi Stadium. Not that that's too much of a trip for Arizona, but yeah, I think it's the defense. The defense for the Rams will be the first team this season to actually shut down Kyler Murray. The Cardinals are scoring at an outrageous rate, and Rams should be able to get done here. Maybe not cover. I'm not sure about that 4, but Rams money line. Over-under is 55, biggest one of the weekend, and we're going over the Seahawks, the other NFC West matchup here. Seahawks at the Niners. And we're all on San Francisco. I think that we saw them play very well against the Packers, and that's pretty much my reasoning. I also don't think Seattle's offensive line is all that great. So Nick Bosa, go have a good day, dude. Over-under is 52. I like the under. Super Bowl 45 rematch. These two teams haven't played since then. The Steelers at the Packers, two of the most storied franchises in NFL history. And as much as I wanted to pick the Steelers to get revenge for the Super Bowl 45 loss, Mike Tomlin was the head coach. Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback for that game. Not many guys, if any, other than Roethlisberger are on the team from that game in 2009. But, 2009 season. But, or no, that was the 2012 season, I believe. I don't know. Getting all my years mixed up. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But anyways, I think Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and that's why he should win the game. It's at Lambeau, so that was a big factor as well. It's going to be tight, and having TJ Watt back is astronomical in the equation of whether the Packers will win or not, or the Steelers will win or not. But I'm going with Aaron Rodgers, and over under is 46. We're going to go over. I think the teams are going to have to score to win this game. Last afternoon game on Sunday is a pick'em game. Weird. I was sure that they would have moved the line in favor of one or the other, but they kept it a pick'em game. And rightfully so, though. I think this will be one of the more even games of the weekend. Ravens at Broncos, Broncos at home. I was kind of surprised no one took them. I was thinking about it. But with the guys that the Ravens are getting back on defense, Justin Madubuike, Justin Houston, and who was the other guy? Brandon Williams at nose tackle. Those guys, I think defensively will be able to shut down the Ravens offense or the Broncos offense. And Lamar's going to have a tough time too, though, against the Broncos defense. I think this will be a very low scoring game, but I think the Ravens eke one out, maybe with another Tucker field goal. Over under is 45, again, under low scoring defensive battle. Sunday Night Football, the return. The return of one number 12, Tom Brady, 7-time Super Bowl champ, 6 of those with the New England Patriots, his first 20 seasons in New England. Coming home with a new ring on his finger. And he's bringing Gronk with him, as the commercial says. So, we're all on Tampa Bay. I don't think they should have any issues. They already faced the most difficult defense to play in the league so far, anyways. The Rams last weekend. Patriots are similar. They have a good defense as well. I don't think it'll matter. The Bucs offense is too good. Even if Gronk doesn't play, they're just going to go to O.J. Howard or Cam Brate. So it's not like they miss a step very much there. Over-under is 50. And I think we stay under. Just barely. All righty. That is all the picks. But we have best bets of the week. And again, I went 1-2. I hit the Titans covering against the Colts last week. I should have won the freaking Raiders bet. I already talked about how much bull that was. But, we move on. We are going to keep going here. And yeah, we got to keep going. That's it. That's all you can ask for is just to keep moving on, right? So, yeah, I also lost the Ravens -8.5. Thought that was a good play last weekend. Apparently not. So these are the 3 that I have this weekend. I have Washington -1.5 now. But I kept it at 1 because that's what I got it at. -1 at the Falcons. That's pretty much a money line bet. And really like that. I think they should beat them. That's fine. Cleveland -2 at Minnesota. Played well against the Seahawks last week, did the Vikings, but I think Cleveland's too much for them, and they should beat them by a field goal or more. And then Pittsburgh +6.5 at Green Bay. I wasn't sure what to put for the third spot here, and I just think that the defense with TJ Watt being back against, if the Packers are still playing their third string left tackle, I think that they should be able to do that and cover and possibly even win. So let's see if we can get closer to 500 with a 3-0 week here. All right. I still haven't changed that dang thing. I'm going to go change that right now because it's irking me. But locks of the week. Yeah, we all hit last week. Pretty good week. And I had Mark and I were on the Cardinals. They beat the Jags in Jacksonville, and then Chris was on the Ravens. He had to sweat that one out in Detroit. So going for 4-1 this week are all of us, and we are all in the same boat together. So we either win or we lose together because we are all on the Buccaneers in New England on Sunday night. We're going to beat them. They're going to beat the Patriots, and Brady's going to get his quote-unquote revenge as he comes home. So Buccaneers go get it done. Dog standings. Oh, my Lord. If you want a legitimate dog bet every weekend, watch our freaking show because we have the dog bastard. The guys at College Game Day, when they're picking super dogs, granted that's college and we pick NFL super dogs, but pay attention to what Mr. Mark Warren's doing because it's ridiculous. We've never seen this kind of run. 3 weeks into the season. 4 weeks because we counted our college picks as well for that first week. Amazing, man. Amazing. Chris and I, we're still latching on. We went 2-0 last week as well. Chris, Packers won outright at the Niners. I had the Vikings winning outright at Seattle. And Mark had the Falcons winning outright at the Giants. So here we go. This week's dogs. Chris. Oh, Chris. But you gotta text me a different one because you gotta pay attention to the news, dude. I don't know. With all those guys out for the Colts, I don't think that they have a chance to beat the Dolphins. So I don't think Chris has a chance. So that would give me an upper hand on him, but I'm going with Mark as well. So we are both on the Lions in Chicago +3. Mark's banking on his old quarterback to do it for him, Jared Goff. And I like Swift and Hawkinson. They should be able to get it done there. Hopefully Lions can get their first win of the year in Chicago. All right, next Friday, we will have all of the game recaps from the couple games during the week. We will also have we will be previewing all the college and NFL games. And the games we'll be recapping are the Monday night matchup this week, Raiders at Chargers at SoFi Stadium, and then Rams at Seahawks at Lumen Field for Thursday night football to kick off week 5. That is the show for today. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAApodcast.com is our website. Check out all of our previous episodes there as well as here on YouTube. We also post on our Facebook page as well. Check us out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcast if you choose to listen instead of watch. So thank y'all for